Y'all over there looking like that. Damn.
I know, I'm like, damn, man, it's different when watching it was
Nah, I know,
so
right?
different.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Christopher here, back from 100 Ways to Live. So the guest that I have in here today is a legend. You know, this guy's a legend, man. He's made a name for
Not a
himself,
legend.
man. He's a legend.
Oh,
I'm gonna introduce. This is AJ, aka Verowells. How you doing, dog?
I'm chilling. Appreciate you having me.
Yes,
man.
sir. All right, man. So having you here, I want to thank you for your time first. But the people want to know. There's things about you that people want to know, and that's what we're here for today. So the people want to know, like, what's your background? Like, what got you into fitness? Did you come from a fitness background? Have it always been there, or is this like what happened? How did this start?
I came from a sports background.
Sports
I
background.
I graduated high school super skinny.
Okay.
My main sports were basketball, track, and cross country.
How skinny we talking?
I'm talking skinny, bro. Like, I think I was benching 95 when I graduated.
Okay.
I had no desire. I was the one in weight class, not trying to lift weights, bro. Like, I didn't want to lift weights.
So from high school, did you join the military right after high school? How did that start?
I took 5 years.
5 years. So you lived life and then you started the military. Would you say that the military has something to do with how hard you started going in the gym? Like, is that what was introduced to you?
Nah, definitely not. I really just, like, one of my first jobs was Gold's Gym.
Okay.
And I worked the night shift, so there was nobody really there.
Okay.
So I would just get bored at night because nobody was there, and all I did was bench press. I ain't do not one.
That's how you started.
All I did was bench press. My friends would come, I'll let them in, and all we did is cared about was bench press. We would just bench all day.
Okay.
And then the first 2 hours without I would get there was a trainer there. So after after a while, I started asking him a little bit of questions because he was just like a G.I. Joe looking dude. And I would just ask him a couple questions like, man, what you eat, bro? Or what do you do? And then I would just ask him questions. And then when I would get bored during the shift, all they had was fitness magazines. They sold protein cookies and protein shakes, so that's all I was eating. So I just slowly started, like, learning little by little and just started adding it. And then it really came down to one time I took my shirt off, and everybody that hadn't seen me in a while was like, damn, bro.
You putting on size now.
Yeah, they were like, you got big. And I was like, from there, I was like, that's kind of cool.
That first time you hear it, it does something to you.
It does a little bit.
It does something to you. People don't admit
bit.
that, but that first time you hear it, it does something to you.
It moved my spirit a little bit.
Especially when you coming from being super slim to hearing that. That's new. That's new for you.
I'm like,
yeah. Okay. So, from there, what would you say you are now? Like, would you feel like there's a lot that you still need to learn? Like, how do you feel now?
I mean, I'm always learning, but I think at this point in my life, like, I just live my life. Like, there's a lot of people that think, all these things about fitness people and how they live. I'm like, for me, my thing is consistency.
Okay.
So I know how far I can let myself go and how far it's gonna take to pull myself back. So I live comfortably. If I see a burger and I want it, I'm finna eat it.
You are?
Oh yeah.
So do you feel like you can make it up with the cardio, or how is that, like the mindset of it, being able to eat that and then still look the same way you look?
And that's the thing. It's like people just think like one burger is not gonna throw you off for the rest of your life. But if you don't put that work in after you eat that one burger for that one time you indulge, then it's gonna accumulate and then it's gonna become a problem. So you gotta have like that discipline to be able to stop the little binges that you go on.
So not to just go too far. You know when to reel it back in.
You gotta know how to reel it back in.
At what point in your life or your journey did you start realizing, like, man, people messing with me right now? Like, people like what I'm doing. I got something to offer people.
That was during the military time. You know what I mean? That's before kind of when Instagram first started.
Around 2012.
I didn't care about it, whatever. But I was also, my sister did Herbalife. So then she got me into it. And I'm like, because I mean, when you start getting fit, people, the first thing people always ask you, like, what do you take? What do you do? And in my mind, I'm like, honestly, all the supplements are all the same to me.
Right.
So I was like, but my sister wanted me to get on Herbalife, so I did. So in my mind, being a hustler guy that I've always been was, the harder I go and the more work I put in, people are gonna ask me, what do I take? And I can show them to this, which is gonna make me more money.
Okay.
So I started
that,
and that's when the videos, because I was new to social media. Yeah. So when I told myself the harder I go on these videos and the more work I put in on these videos, then people are gonna come to me. So I knew that it's a marketing thing.
Absolutely. So you were thinking beyond just, I want to look away. You were like, I want to put money in my pockets and then use all this together. Okay, so that's genius.
And I started as the typical Herbalife person. Like, I had it all over my posts. And then some random dude that was big in fitness hit me up on Instagram and was like, hey, I sell Herbalife too. And I was like, that's what's up. And he was like, I make a lot of money. He's like, ask yourself this. He said, I see it all in your background, all your posts. He said, do you want to be AJ from Herbalife or do you want to be whatever your name is? And I was like, and that's when it would hit me. I was like, you're right. He's like, so do you want to sell yourself or do you want to be a product of a company? I was like, that's true.
That's amazing.
And that's when I stripped
advice.
it from the backgrounds and I just started going hard for myself.
At this point, how big would you say you were? Like, how known were you before you made that jump?
Even to this day, I'm like, I don't even consider myself known like that. So it's like, I mean, I'm a humble guy.
Yeah.
So when people come up to me, I'm like, I know you off your social media. I'm like, I'm a regular person.
You are, but you also aren't seeing the impact that you may have on people. You aren't seeing how you may be influencing all these people or motivating these people. So to you, you're you, but to the outside world, we see you a different way.
Yeah, and I feel that too. And to an extent, like, that's why some negative things I do hide. Because it's just like, I don't want everybody to think that, like, while they're on their journey, that you could do this too. Like,
right, because we all have our different journeys and we all respond differently to the same things.
Yeah.
We can respond differently.
Because once you get to where you're going, then you can start to play.
Yeah, and I tell people that, I work out with some people and I may indulge, and then the people that are with me try to indulge, but we're at two different states in our fitness journey.
Yeah.
So you can't do what I do just because we work out together.
Exactly.
Our body responds differently and I work out differently, so, but yeah, man, I think for me, with you, I seen you when I was in the military, my first time seeing you, and there's like this mystique about you to some degree because we just see this.
Yeah.
We don't get to see the AJ. We don't get to see,
Definitely.
we see Verowells. So is there anything that you would like to tell people about yourself that they may not know, just based on having a misconception about you from social media?
I mean, just live your life. Like, people always assume that I weigh my food. I don't.
You don't weigh food at all?
No.
You've never weighed food?
No, never.
What about macros?
No.
Never?
No.
So how do you maintain this? Like, you go into a meal, are you thinking protein? Like, how do you?
I mean, I feel like everybody deep down knows what's kind of clean, what's not. If you pull up to McDonald's and get a Big Mac meal with some extra large fries, it's not good, man.
You know this can't go well.
But, if you go probably get you a salad or something from probably even Subway, not saying it's like, not chemical wise, but it is more healthy than
right.
A Big Mac. But you know what you're doing a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's just like you just have to know. I'm gonna put in what I want to, and if I do put in something bad I don't want to indulge, I'm gonna work it off.
So you have that mentality. So would you tell people? Would you tell people who think, oh, I work out to eat what I want? Is that what you do? Or
yeah,
you
definitely.
work out to eat what you want?
Because people always come to me like, when you gonna compete? Never. I'm never going to compete.
You don't have any idea. You don't have any interest in that at all.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
Like, my thing is like, I'm not. That's not what I'm ever trying to be. Like, my thing is like, it's a story of consistency, because I know people of all shapes and forms, and they've done a lot of different things. And the thing is, with them, it's inconsistent. So the story of my life is I've always been consistent. There's not one person that you could find to be like, oh, I used to know him when he was. No, I was never fell off. And that's with me. It's like, I never fell off. Like, maybe there's times I wasn't the best of my best, but I never fell off. But then there's other people that's like, oh, when I was your age, I'm 37 years old.
You're 37?
People be thinking I'm in my 20s. I'm like, no, I'm 37, man. And they be like, when I was your age, I'm like, bro, we're probably peers. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to keep myself at a certain level, and I always am. And that's just I call it my life minimums. Like, I'm going to be able to run this fast, bench this much, squat this much, and that's my life minimum, because I feel like you have to be at a certain physique and look to be able to maintain the numbers that I have that I want to maintain.
Okay, so I seen you journal your workouts. Do you journal every single workout, and what's the method? What are you doing? Are you progressive overloading? Like, what are you doing there?
So that writing it down came from the military.
Okay.
So when I was in the military, I was a flying aircraft mechanic. So I was gone 200 days a year, all over the world. So I was in hotel gyms, random gyms in Europe and other countries, and you never know what you have. So what I did was, instead of just going into the gym and be like, okay, well, I feel like I got to work out and so I'm done, I started writing down as many reps that I should do. Because I don't care if you do 100 reps of 20 pounds, that's still better than doing 50 reps, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so for me, I write down as many reps. So I do progressively overload if I have time.
Okay.
But if I'm in a time crunch, that's my minimal reps. And I'm going to knock it out and I'm going to get out.
Okay. So I want to say this. Just because AJ eats to work out or work out to eat, whatever, that is not for everybody.
That's
Like,
not
as he
for
touched on
everyone.
earlier, what works for him will not work for the next person, the next man, next woman. So I want to make that clear. You're like, that's not something that everybody should do if it doesn't work for you.
Facts.
Okay?
And that goes for anything that you see on social media from any influencer you follow or anything that you see. There's so much fake news out there. Do your own research, compile it, try it. Trial it. The fitness journey is trial and error. You might see one person say they do this. I eat donuts before my leg day. Not suggesting everybody does that. I do. But I seen somebody else do it, so I started doing it. But that might not be for everybody. But I like donuts, and I'm gonna eat them before leg day. So. Or chest day. I'm gonna eat them.
Absolutely.
But so not everybody should do that.
Before you go put on, some heavy weight, you carb.
You know what I mean? Like and that's probably from people that's been really carb depleting.
Yeah,
and I'm not depleted from carbs. I still eat mine.
Okay, man. I appreciate your time today, brother.
Of
man.
course.
Sitting here
I
getting to know
appreciate
you
you
is
having
cool,
me.
bro.
Of
Appreciate
course.
that.
Yes.